Hello, my name is Willie. Today I'm going to show you some of Corpse Bride, I'm going to explain a bit, and I'm also going to show you some amazing details. Okay, so Corpse Bride is a stop-motion animation movie made by Tim Burton. The movie was released in 2005. This movie stands out in stop-motion movies because of the unique inner mechanism in the head of the puppets. Because of this, the puppets were able to have very precise and special facial features. Normally you would remove a bottom part of the face or the mouth to swap it out every shot, but the puppets' heads were made to be faster in changing their facial expressions. Sadly it turned out to take more time, but it did give them a lot more optimization. Be sure to leave a like if you want more and subscribe to follow up on more content. The movie starts off with our main protagonist Victor Van Dort. He is seen drawing a sketch of a blue butterfly. Remember that butterfly, because this is going to have a connection throughout the movie. Then we are treated to a beautiful long shot mixed with the start of a song. I have some YouTube shorts that explain some of the things that you can see in the first scenes, be sure to check them out. The song introduces us to two families, the Van Dorts and the Everglots. The Van Dorts is a nouveau riche, or newly rich family, self-made by selling fish. They rearrange a marriage with the daughter of the Everglots.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the?
This marriage is based on the Van Dorts getting a noble status that the Everglots have, and the Everglots get a lot of money from the fish sellers. Quickly, the name Van Dort means from Dort or Dortmund. I personally feel like this name was chosen because it shows that they come from a different start than the Everglots, but this is just a theory. A film theory. No. This is my channel. After the song, we see Victor have an ADHD moment and randomly start playing the piano, which Victoria hears and she is going to investigate the sound. Then Victor gets really scared by the female. He's literally me. They talk very nervously and very cute for the time period. And at this point Victoria gives Victor a flower. I think this has actually a deeper meaning, but I will explain more when the Blue Woman is introduced.
Master Van Dort, from the beginning, again.
At the wedding rehearsal, Victor keeps forgetting his vows and Lord Barkis is introduced. His full name is Bitten Barkis. This could be a reference to the David Copperfield novel from Charles Dickens, where Mr. Barkis is a side character that is known for the quote, "Barkis is willin'." Maybe this is a reference to later in the movie where he wants to marry Victoria. Victor keeps making mistakes and ends up lighting his mother-in-law on fire, which Barkis extinguishes with some red no-no juice. This makes Victor go into the forest and learn his vows, and he ends up doing them perfectly while fully role-playing the occasion.
Candle. I will light your way in darkness.
And at the end he puts the ring on a tree branch. This tree branch looks a lot like a hand and starts moving like a hand and is attached to a woman like a hand. Oh, it's a hand. Turns out he married a corpse that was waiting for someone to marry her. Her name is Emily, and yes, she is the corpse bride. Victor gets chased by Emily and she gives him a good smooch. We have to talk about these ravens. They are mostly seen around the dead people. Above Emily there are a bunch of them, and later with Elder Goodnight. Then we see the beautiful world of the dead. This is what I was talking about with the color contrast. So first we have the world of the dead. It's very lively, colorful, and everyone's smiling all the time. And afterwards we have the world of the living, which is very grey and dull, and it's very ironic. It's time for another musical number. This one explains what happens to Emily. Emily was of noble and found a man she wanted to marry. The father wouldn't allow this. So they met in secret under the tree where Victor found her to get married. And she got murdered by her man, and he stole her family jewels and ran. This shadow looks a lot like a character we've seen before.
Who's that Pokemon?
Because she died, she made a promise to wait under the tree until someone would come and marry her. And that is what our Victor unknowingly did. Victor is spooked and runs away from the bar that they were in. We cut back to the world of the living where Lord Barkis has found a loud man with a bell to tell the family some bad news. This makes it so that Victor has until tomorrow to return, or they'll find someone else to marry Victoria. So Barkis is a little slimeball with the Everglots. Back to our Victor running away while Emily starts chasing him. This leads to some funny jokes, and they get to show that the world is incredibly well put together and that so much can be done in it. Then Emily catches up and gives Victor a wedding present.
It's a wedding present.
His old dog Scraps, who passed away. Here we can also see a nice detail that a lot of furniture is made from old coffins, like this bench, shelves, a pool table, the piano, and some other stuff. Then Victor gets a devious plan and tells Emily that he wants her to meet his parents.
This is a load of barnacles.
So they go to Elder Goodnecht. The name Goodnecht means of noble descent. This means that he's a nobleman. This is also confirmed by the books he is reading, which are all Latin.
Do not mess with us Latinos.
Motherfucker! I'm illegal.
Back in those times, the noble was the only one with an education, and almost all of them had to study Latin. So we get to see him drinking some vile potion and crack an egg. That is the Ukrainian haunting spell, so they can go to the land of the living. They get back to the tree and Emily says something very special that is foreshadowing to the end of the movie.
I'd almost forgotten how beautiful the moonlight is.
Together with the very important butterfly. Both of these things are going to be revealed later what they mean. Then Victor tells Emily to stay here while he goes and talk to his parents first, so not to freak them out. This was a lie and he actually goes to see Victoria. Then we get cut back to Emily, who's having a conversation with the maggot living inside her head. Fun fact, this character is actually based on an old and famous actor, Peter Lorre. Maggot convinces her to go and have a look before he comes back, so Emily starts following Victor's trail left in the snow. Victor then arrives at Victoria's window and he explains that he wants to marry her, and then Emily comes into the room and finds out Victor lied. Victoria is very confused to see that Victor married a corpse, and then Emily gets mad and leaves with the Ukrainian hunting spell. Emily is very sad as they return, and Victor tries to reason with her, but it doesn't work out. She starts crying and walks away. This calls for a song. The song is very special by how it's as good as like 2 songs switching between each other with the same plot. Emily sings about how she's a corpse and Victor will never love her because of that. And Maggot and Black Widow, not that Black Widow, sing about how she has an amazing personality and she can do anything better than Victoria other than being alive. They don't convince her and Emily walks away again. We cut back to Victoria explaining to her parents what she saw and they don't believe her, but they do believe that Victor was in a room and lock her in for the night. She escapes using her blanket to go to the church. Here Victoria tries to ask about what she saw and the priest brings Victoria to her parents.
Oh shit! A rat!
And calls her crazy. She is boarded up in the room without a key. Downstairs, Lord Barkis is more of a slime ball and explains how he would take care of Victoria if he got to marry her. Then Lady Everglot calls his wife very lucky, which he replies,
Alas, I am not married. Fortunately for you, however, you are maidenless.
So Lord and Lady Everglot decide to marry Victoria off to Barkis. She does not want to, but her family gives her no choice. Mayhew starts coughing and dies. Now we get my favorite scene in the entire movie. Almost nothing is said and I encourage you to look it up later. This scene is another song, but it's only piano. Briefly, Emily plays the part of the song that played earlier. As I said before, the flowers stand for love. At the moment, Emily is not wearing any of her flowers and she dropped the bouquet before walking off, showing that she's given up on love. Then Victor tries to give Emily the flowers back, which she does not take, so she is not accepting his love because of good reasons. To cheer Emily up, Victor plays a bit of piano. Emily's mood starts to change and shows us so much emotion without ever talking. For stop motion, this is an extremely hard thing to do, but especially with the inner mechanisms, it's very different and they can customize so much more. You can see her roll her eyes as she's not impressed by him playing piano. When she joins in, you can see so much more emotion coming from her, and the scene changes from style and emotion until Emily's fully cheered up. I mean, go watch it, seriously. Then we get an alert that the newcomer is here. And it turns out to be Mayhew. He smoked too much and got something to his lungs or heart, so he's dead. And Victor learns that Victoria is marrying Lord Barkis. We see Victoria in a wedding dress, getting ready for the ceremony. She is very distressed and the maiden wishes her good luck. She marries Lord Barkis without a glimpse of emotion on her face. As Victor got the bad news, he looks at the flower and gives up on the idea of marrying Victoria. As the flower falls, he overhears a conversation in the kitchen. Elder Goodnecht is explaining to Emily that their marriage is invalid because the marriage is binding until death do you part. But as Emily is already dead, it already parted them.
She's dead!
So, Victor would have to make the ultimate sacrifice. As he heard everything, he says yes to the ceremony. Because of that, everyone is getting ready for the wedding, and it's with a song. We cut back to Victoria and Lord Barkis's wedding. It seems extra dull and no one is having a great time. At one point he even says serendipity, which means the gift of finding valuable or agreeable things not looked for. This is very ironic as Barkis was looking for this and both of them didn't get anything valuable out of the wedding. They discuss how both of them married to get money and no one ends up with any. After all that is done, they go up to the world of the living to have the wedding there. As the dead rises at the wedding and in the streets, everyone freaks out, is afraid for their lives until they start to realize that they are not dangerous, and most of them are lost relatives, lovers, and friends. Almost the entire town goes to the church to support the soon-to-be dead marriage. As Victoria follows everyone to the church, right as they are about to complete their vows and drink the poison, Emily stops Victor from drinking. She wants Victor and Victoria to marry each other instead. Then Lord Barkis comes barging in and yells that the wedding is a no-go because Victoria is still married to him, and then it's also relevant that Lord Barkis was Emily's killer. Remember that shadow? Well, yeah, that's him. Everyone of the dead wants to fight Barkis, but it's not allowed because the dead are not supposed to harm the living. Then there's this weird fight scene between Victor and Barkis ends up giving a speech and drinking from the wine. Little does he know that it was poison and he becomes one of the dead. Therefore the others can harm him. Then we pan to a view of him being extremely afraid and eventually getting taken away. Emily gives back her ring and walks to the outside, where she turns into the same butterflies that we saw at the start. She also glows like the moon while doing so. She has been set free, just like Victor set free that butterfly at the start. And that is where the movie ends. So I hope you enjoyed, subscribe for more and leave a comment on what movie I should do next.